Mrs. Madhvi Matre welcome you all in the next lecture of Mathematics 1. I hope all of you are doing well at home. We are studying chapter number 2, Real Numbers. In this we have studied properties of rational numbers and properties of irrational numbers. So let us revise those properties in short. So the very first property here of irrational number is addition or subtraction of a rational number with irrational number is an irrational number. That means if we add one rational number and other irrational number, the sum is an irrational number. Like 2 plus root 3. 2 is a rational number, root 3 is a irrational number. So 2 plus root 3 together it is an irrational number. Similarly, multiplication or division of non-zero rational number with irrational number is also an irrational number. Okay, that means if we take one rational number and one irrational number and if we try to multiply or divide, then the product is always an irrational number. Like 2 into root 3, the answer is 2 root 3 is an irrational number. We have seen these with the solved examples from the textbook. Then the third property here is addition, subtraction, multiplication and division of two irrational number can be a rational number or an irrational number. With various examples we have seen these properties. Okay, so what you have to keep in mind, one rational and one irrational number, the answer is going to be irrational. But if you have both irrational numbers, then the answer may be irrational or may not be irrational. It can be rational also. Okay, so that you have to keep in mind. Now, let's go further. You know that rational numbers and irrational numbers together they are called as real numbers. Okay, so now we are going to study about real numbers and then we are going to study more about a specific type of irrational numbers called as surds. Now, let us see the properties of order relation on real numbers. As I have told you previously, now the numbers which we are going to discuss here in algebra, they all are what? Real numbers. And then we are going to discuss about the order relation. So here we are going to think of two numbers or three numbers and then how the order relation exists there. So the very first thing here is that if we have two real numbers, now we are not talking about rational numbers or irrational numbers. Their properties separately we have discussed, and as I have said, rational and irrational together they are called as real numbers. So now if we have A and B as two real numbers, then in that case here we have three relations. So out of these three relations, only one relation holds good at a time. Okay, that means for two numbers here, two relations or three relations are not possible. Only one of these relations holds good or it is possible. Which are they? First one is A is equal to B. That means those two real numbers, they are equal. Second thing, A is less than B. That means A is smaller and B is bigger. Or A is greater than B. That means A is greater and B is smaller. So any one relation only exists at a time. Okay. Then the next property here is about three numbers. If we think of three numbers such a way that A is less than B, that means A is smaller than B, B is less than C. So here what we can say is A is smallest and C is biggest. Okay, so if the first number is smaller than the second and second is smaller than the third, then the first number is smaller than the third one. Okay, so if A is less than B and B is less than C, then A is less than C. Okay, let's go further. Third property, if A is less than B, this is called as inequality. You know that this is called as equality because here equal to sign is there. These are called as what? Inequalities. So if A is less than B, then A plus C is less than B plus C. That means we can add the same number to both the sides of inequality. Okay, and the sign in the middle which is given, that does not change. So if A is less than B, then A plus C is less than B plus C. Next, fourth one, if A is less than B and we have one more number C such that C is positive, C is greater than 0 means C is positive. So here if we multiply both the sides of this inequality by positive number, then the middle sign, it does not change. A into C is less than B into C. When C is positive, the sign does not change. But if this third number C, if it is negative, it is less than 0, then this middle sign is going to reverse. You can observe here, see, here it remained the same, but here it got reversed. So if we multiply both the sides of inequality by a negative number, then this sign gets reversed. You can observe here we have less than sign, but here we have greater than sign. That means if A is less than B and if C is negative or C is less than 0, then we have AC is greater than BC. So all these properties are very much important. You note them down in your notebook or you can mark them in the textbook. They are given properly in the textbook. So you mark that these properties are very much important, which you are going to use in your higher studies also. Higher standards 11th and 12th, maths is an important subject and there you need all these properties. Okay. Now let's go further. Now we are going to see the concept of square root of a negative number. I told you so many times that square is never negative. So let us think now what happens if we have a square root of negative number. So let us take one example here, that we know that if root A is equal to B, then B square is equal to A. We are going to square both the sides. So when we are squaring this root A is going to become A and here we have B square. So this is applicable for any number. Suppose we are taking a number like root 5. So if root 5 is equal to x, then x square is 5. Okay. So square we got a positive number here. So here what we can say is the square of any real number is always negative. We are using this statement again and again that square is never negative. That means square of any real number is always positive or it is always non-negative. So if we take a number like this, square root of root 5, and if we try to square it, see square root of root 5 square, then this square will get cancelled with this root, because here also order is 2 and here also the index is 2 and the answer will be -5. But what we are saying again and again, square is never negative. So here we got the negative answer and therefore we can say that square root of -5 is not a real number. So inside this root sign you cannot have negative number. I am telling only about square root. Please take a note. If you have cube root, then you can have a negative number here, because you know that cube of negative number is negative. So here if it is 3 is written here inside the order, then inside you may have negative number. But for this specific symbol of square root, inside you cannot have negative number. Why? Because the square of any real number is always non-negative or it is always positive. This we have studied so many times. Okay. So square root of negative number does not exist, that you have to keep in mind. So what we can say is that square root of a negative real number is not a real number. We are thinking only about real numbers. In higher standards, you are going to study about more different types of numbers like complex numbers. So there you may have the numbers like this. But in case of real numbers, you cannot have square root, and inside that the radicand cannot be negative. Okay. So this is about the square root of negative number. Now let us move towards practice set. So practice set 2.2 we are going to start now. So first question, show that 4 root 2 is an irrational number. So it is very simple to solve this, as we have seen in solved examples. This we are going to solve by using indirect proof. That means whatever given we are going to say that it is wrong. So what we are going to start with, suppose 4 root 2 is a rational number, and then we are going to get contradiction. Okay, so let us start. So what is our first statement? Let us assume that 4 root 2 is a rational number, or you can write that 4 root 2 is not an irrational number, so it's a rational number. Then you know that rational number we can express in the form of P upon Q or any other numbers like A and B I have taken here. Okay, so any two letters you can take. So I can say that therefore 4 root 2 I can write as A upon B. Condition is what? B cannot be 0. You know that denominator is never 0. And A and B are integers. It's a reduced form. So here this way we are going to get. Now what we are going to do is we are going to change the side. So what we are going to get here? See, this 4 is shifted to right hand side. So 4 which was in multiplication came in division, that is in denominator. So what I can write? Therefore root 2 is equal to A upon 4B, and number these as 1. Now observe both the sides of this equation. If you observe A and B and 4, all these are integers. So these A upon 4B has to be integers. So right hand side of this equation is an integer. That means we can say rational number. Opposite to that, here since A, 4, B all are integers, we can say that A upon 4B is a rational number. And opposite to that, root 2 is an irrational number. We have proved this, that root 2 is an irrational number. So here for equation 1 what we are getting is right hand side is a rational number, and opposite to that the left hand side root 2 is an irrational number. So this is a contradiction, or this is contradictory. And why this contradiction arises? Because of our wrong assumption. So we can say that therefore our assumption that 4 root 2 is a rational number is wrong, and therefore whatever given is correct. Therefore I can say that 4 root 2 is an irrational number. Okay, so this way you are going to write the proof. I hope all of you must have copied it down in your notebook. If you are not done, pause the video and copy it. Let us go further now towards the second question. Second question, prove that 3 plus root 5 is an irrational number. Such one question we have solved in discussed in solved examples also. So the same proof you can write here by changing just the numbers. but still I am giving you the proof. Once again, it is an indirect proof, as we have seen that we are going to say that it is a rational number. So we are going to assume that 3 plus root 5 is a rational number. So again the next step, that this number therefore we can express in the form of P upon Q, or you can take A upon B, any letters you can take. So I can write down therefore 3 plus root 5 is equal to A upon B. These conditions you need to write, that B is not equal to 0 and A and B are integers. Now the next step, this rational part let us shift to right hand side. So what we are going to get, root 5 is equal to A upon B minus 3. Number this as equation 1. You will find that the steps are exactly similar. Got it? So here now, once again see, A is an integer, B is an integer, and 3 is also an integer. And because of this right hand side is a rational number. Opposite to that, root 5 is an irrational number. So what we can say is that A upon B minus 3 is a rational number because A and B are integers. And therefore, the right hand side of equation 1 is a rational number. But the left hand side, that is root 5, is an irrational number. So again we got the contradiction. So what we are going to write, this is contradictory, and this contradiction arises because of our wrong assumption, and therefore our assumption that 3 plus root 5 is a rational number is wrong, and therefore 3 plus root 5 is an irrational number. Okay, so this way we are going to prove. In the previous case, product was there and here addition is there, but you will find that the steps are exactly similar. There, though that multiplicative factor we took into denominator, here this plus 3 we wrote as minus 3. Exactly opposite operation we are doing. Okay, so this way you are going to prove it. So all the wordings, all the steps are exactly similar, only their product was there and here addition is there. Okay, I hope you must have understood this, because we are discussing this now for the 4th time. Now let us go further towards the next question. Represent the numbers root 5 and root 10 on number line. Here, while explaining the irrational number, I took the example of root 2. So here now you will understand how to construct this. Okay, so let us see how to construct this, or how to represent root 5 and root 10 on number line. How to show root 5 and root 10 on number line. So number line means what? A line on which we are going to show numbers. So first of all, I am drawing one line here. Since it is line, we have to show arrowheads at both the ends. Okay. Now towards the left of this, I am taking one point as origin. Okay. It is denoting us number 0. Let us name it as O. Okay. Here, afterwards, root 5 and root 10, they are positive numbers. So they lie on the right hand side of a number line. That you know. Afterwards, one important thing to understand is, here, root 5 is greater than root 4. That is 2. That means root 5 lies beyond 2. So here, let us show units 1 and 2. So we have to fix certain distance as 1 unit. Here what I am doing is, I am taking 3 centimeters as 1 unit. That means at every 3 centimeters I am going to mark a unit. So now here, scale of 0, I am adjusting here at O. Okay, and here 1, 2 and 3, I am doing the marking here at 3. This is 1. Afterwards count again, 1, 2 and 3, that means at 6 I am doing again the marking. That is 2.
1, 2 and 3. Again I am doing one marking here. Okay. So the units are set here. This is 1, this is 2 and this is 3. What we have decided is 3 centimeters is equal to 1 unit. Okay. So this is my 1, this is 2 and this is 3. Okay. So first let us see about root 5. As I have said, root 5 is greater than root 4, which is equal to 2. So root 5 lies beyond 2, here somewhere. Somewhere here it lies. Now let us see how to locate it. For that purpose, we will make use of Pythagoras theorem. You know that Pythagoras theorem is applicable to right angle triangle. Okay, so let us draw one right angle triangle in such a way that the base here OA, I am giving the name OA, and the base is 2 units. That means this part. Okay, as I said, root 5 is beyond 2. So I have taken this as 2. And the height I am taking as 1 unit. Let us name it as B. So now if we apply the Pythagoras theorem, what is Pythagoras theorem? Hypotenuse square is equal to sum of squares of other two sides, or hypotenuse square is equal to base square plus height square. So here we can write down OB square is equal to OA square plus AB square. Correct? What is OA? OA is 2. So 2 square. And here it is 1 square. 2 square is 4 and 1 square is 1. That is equal to 5. What this shows us is OB square is equal to 5. And if we take the square roots on both the sides, OB we are going to get as root 5. That means this distance is root 5. Okay. Then you know that for a circle, all the radii are same. Radii are always congruent here for a single circle. So if I take this much radius here, this distance is how much? Root 5. And if I try to rotate it like this here I am going to get the same radius, that is root 5. So if this distance is root 5, this distance has to be root 5. So from this we can say that root 5 lies somewhere here. Now let us see how to construct it on the number line. So what we have done is, just recall, we have drawn one line. On that we have taken one origin and we have located points 1, 2 and 3. It's 1. Okay, so if you observe here that here it is a right angle at A. I am naming this point as what? A. So here I want right angle. Right angle means what? 90 degrees angle. So I need to draw a 90 degrees angle here. So I am taking protractor and by using that I am drawing the 90 degrees angle here. Be careful that your line should coincide with the horizontal line of the protractor. Correct? So here I am marking 90 degrees. 90 degrees is marked. And there I will draw a line. Okay, so it is actually a ray because here it is having end point and here I am doing the arrow marking. So it's a ray. Now observe how much distance we want here. We want a distance of 1 unit here. Okay, so let us take distance of 1 unit from here. Okay, so here from here to here is a 1 unit. You can see this is 1 unit. This is also 1 unit. We have marked it. And afterwards, mark that distance here. Okay, so marked. So what we can say is, this is 1 and this is my point B. Now, when I will join OB, that OB is root 5. I have explained you how it is root 5. Correct? So I will join this OB and that will give me root 5. I will write here. This distance is root 5. But this distance now I want on number line. So what I will do, I will draw the arc by taking O as a center and OB as a radius. Okay. So I am taking this and I am drawing it. Okay. So here I got it like this, and my this point is root 5. This is how I have shown root 5 on number line. Okay. I hope you have understood this explanation. Similarly, for root 9 now, root 10 now, root 10 is greater than root 9. That means 3. So root 10 lies beyond 3. So similar construction if we do at 3, then we are going to get root 10. Why? Because there the base is going to be 3. Height is same, 1. So 3 square is 9. 1 square is 1. 9 plus 1, that will give you 10. And the distance you will get as root 10. So the similar construction you are going to do at 3. So you are going to get root 10 there. Okay, so let us do it. Once again, take protractor and draw the angle of 90 degrees. Draw the ray here. As I have said, again the height should be 1 unit. You can take from here also, anywhere. We want 1 unit. So take it as 1 unit. Don't forget to mark the perpendicular sign here. It shows that it's 90 degrees. So now when I will join this is root 10. How much this distance is? Root 10. And if I draw the arc considering O as a center up to this, then I'm going to get root 10, correct? So this is my root 10. I hope you have understood how to show root 5 and root 10 on the number line. Now suppose if you want to show minus root 5 and minus root 10 on number line, the similar procedure you will do on left hand side. Why? Because the negative numbers, they lie on the left side of the 0. Similar procedure, same thing you are going to do, and this way you are going to obtain the irrational numbers on number line. It is possible for you to obtain any irrational number on number line by using this procedure. Okay?
Question number 4. Write any 3 rational numbers between the 2 numbers given below. So here I am discussing first and second question. Third and fourth, then you can do it by yourself. So let us see first one here. 0.3 and minus 0.5. So here I have written 6 numbers which they lie between 0.3 and minus 0.5. So out of these you have to write only 3. See, that is why I have written the word 3 here. But I have written here all possible 6 numbers. So how to decide here? Just bring the number line in front of your eyes. That minus 0.5 it lies on left hand side and 0.3 it lies on right hand side of the 0. So after 0.5 here, if it is present here, you have minus 0.4, then you have minus 0.3, minus 0.2, minus 0.1, then you have 0, then you can have 0.1 and 0.2, and the next number is 0.3. So in this way you can write down 6 numbers in all. If you think of the numbers which are there in front of you, actually there are innumerable numbers in between these 2 numbers, but we have to write only 3. So out of these 6 you can write any 3. For example, minus 0.4, minus 0.1 and 0 are 3 rational numbers between 0.3 and minus 0.5. Okay. So if you want, you can write all 6 as I have said, or you can write down any 3. Now let us move towards second one. that is minus 2.3 and minus 2.33. So by just looking at these numbers now here, you can understand that minus 2.3 we can write as minus 2.30. That means 30 here and 33 here. Then in between we have only 31 and 32. So taking 1 0 will not help us. So what we are going to do is we are going to express this number by writing more digits further. So this minus 2.3 I can write as minus 2.300. The value of the original number does not change if I write this 0 after decimal points here. Okay, this is an important thing. If it is simply 23 and if you write 0 in front of that, then it is going to become 230. But if you have decimal point and after that if you are writing zeros, then the number is not going to change. The value is not going to change. Similarly, minus 2.33 we can write as minus 2.330. Now see here, consider this as 300 and this as 330. So in between 300 and 330 you can have 301, 302, 303 up to 329. So out of that 1 to 29 you can take any 3 digits and then you can write down the numbers. Okay, so the numbers will be like this. I have taken any 3. Minus 2.301, minus 2.307, minus 2.321. So you can take any of your choice and this way you can write down the numbers. Similarly, you can 5.2 and 5.3 you can write as 5.20 and 5.30. And in between 20 and 30 then you have 21, 22 and so on. Similarly for this, considering only 1 0 further, you can write the numbers. Okay. So do these 2 sums as homework. Okay students, so today we are stopping here. Please solve the sums carefully. Also go through them. You see these chapters, they are not that easy. In the beginning only I told you that as compared to 8th standard, 9th standard maths is little bit different. Okay. So practice it to understand it better. Okay students, so thank you. We will meet in next lecture. Till that, you stay home, stay safe, take care of yourself. Thank you students.